you guys remember when I first covered the video game Whacked? I sure do, because that's one of the longest times it's ever taken for me to develop a video. While the editing wasn't really all there, I do stand by everything I said in that video. But there is one thing I wish I did, and I would have done it if it wasn't for the already long runtime, and that's going more in detail on the characters of this game. Even though Whacked is a one-off title that barely anybody knows about, and from a long-defunct studio, the cast of Whacked is a lot more developed and a lot more intricate than people realize. I even wonder if the cult following really understands what these guys have going for them. So that's what I'm gonna do today. Everyone get ready. This is a closer look at the cast of Whacked. Let's start with everybody's favorite flightless bird, who apparently isn't a penguin, but let's face it, he's a penguin, Eugene. Eugene has a very interesting backstory. I'm not talking about the character himself. I'm talking about creating Eugene. Presto Studios had a very difficult time creating him. As I'm sure we all know, the characters of Whacked are all based off of the 7 deadly sins: lust, greed, gluttony, sloth, and so forth. They had a very difficult time coming up with one for Envy. You know how I know? They had 4 different characters in total. The first one seems to be this two-headed beast thing that was later turned into a green-eyed monster. I think it's a good concept, but I really don't know much about it because all we have is the art. Then we got the Spinster, who was apparently going to be some evil old lady who was jealous of everybody. I really don't see her fitting into the world. It seems kind of odd and out of place. Then we had this guy, who's a basketball player who's really tiny. I see where they're coming from here, but again, I don't really think it fits. Then we got Eugene, as we see in the final product, and he's a lot more creative and a lot more lovable. He's a flightless bird who wants to fly and be a bird of prey more than anything, even though he's really not. That's the whole crux of his character. He's jealous of everybody and everything that he sees. Poor Eugene is not satisfied with his humble life. And if I'm being honest, I don't really blame him. He still lives with his mom, he's quite pudgy, and he has no skill at all. He's got no prospects either, which is why he went onto the show, so that he can get the prize and get a life worth living. Eugene is also very interesting in the fact that he tries to hide his sin. Whether it's subconsciously or intentionally, that's yet to be determined. But he has these inner monologues where he trash talks everybody and wishes that he had things that other people have. Frequently, he'll say things like,
"I wish I could take my head off and become somebody else."
Or,
"And if I weighed as much as that Lance guy, I'd crush that melon with teeth you keep yapping, Otto."
As much as Eugene seems like a mild-mannered, innocent fellow, I mean, heck, the name Eugene is one of the most innocent and benign names you could possibly get, he is a very disturbed individual, and that shows with his special move. His special move is finally getting the ability to fly, and he uses it to hurt people, going around killing people like the bird of prey he always wished he was. It's an improved version of the missile, really, but at least his dreams finally get to come true. In the exact opposite vein of Eugene is someone who's extremely confident in who he is and loves everything about himself. Perhaps a bit too much. This is Lance. And again, like the opposite of Eugene, the name Lance definitely describes someone who's commanding, powerful, and perhaps a little bit of a Chad, so to speak, if we want to use the neckbeard terminology. I think we can all tell that Lance's sin is pride. You can tell by the purple and the fact that he's a lion, or a proud lion to be specific. And if we look at his original concept art, he was going to be a lot more, flamboyant, let's just say. And I definitely like his redesign a lot more. It's not as obvious or flashy, and it fits a lot more with the game's aesthetic. Lance loves everything about himself, and thinks that everybody else does too. In fact, he's so deluded thinking that he's the greatest thing ever that he can't even take insults. Whenever Lucy, or Van, or Lucky shoots an insult his way, he thinks it's a compliment. For example, during his audition, he never seems to get the fact that the director is not interested in him in the slightest. He thinks it's all a game or a test. Or when Lucy insults his sexual performance, he thinks, again, that it's a compliment. While yes, this does stem from his pride, it also stems from the fact that Lance has a lot more muscle than brain. he actually probably doesn't have any brain, considering the fact that he knows almost nothing about the world. The only thing he knows anything about is himself and how to be extremely creepy. But he does have a really good special move. He gets the double up crown, which, in case you haven't played the game, means that when you collect stars, instead of counting for 1, it counts for 2. Meanwhile, everyone else gets a purple crown, and that means when they pick up stars, it goes directly to Lance's count. It all has to be about Lance all the time, even when he gets his special move. In my opinion, Tooth has the best design out of all the 7 main characters of Whacked. Something about it just screams early 2000s Xbox, and I love it. It always gives me a sense of nostalgia whenever I look at his character model. I think we can all tell where the name Tooth comes from. Given the fact that he's a gluttonous beast, it's Tooth, but the TH is replaced with an F, and this has been Captain Obvious's Obvious Report. But in all seriousness, this is all Tooth is. It may make him seem like a one-dimensional character, but when you listen to his backstory, you kinda get the feel for who this guy is. He was created to be a single-cell organism that was meant to clean up oil spills. He would do so by eating up the mess, slowly cleaning up the Arctic or the ocean or wherever the incident happened. But it was never enough for him. He kept eating and growing to such monstrous degrees. And here he is now, this beast that doesn't have a brain, but a stomach. And yes, I know in one of the clips it shows that he has a brain, it's a metaphor, stop typing. Tooth is honestly a pretty decent fellow. He doesn't mean to hurt anybody, and he just seems to be wanting to go through life. He's not the smartest guy, but he is genuine. As we see in his audition, what you see is what you get. However, whenever the mood strikes him, which is quite often, his mind turns off and then his stomach takes control, and he'll try to eat whatever's in front of him. Cannons, missiles, even people like poor Otto here. He doesn't really intend to cause damage or trouble, but he has no choice. Tooth is designed to eat, and he'll do anything to do so, even eat those who are closest to him. And that is where his special move comes in. Tooth's special move is perhaps the most well-known because it's the only one that's used in the cutscenes. He gets a chef's hat, and everyone else becomes burgers that he gets to eat. It's basically what happens when Pac-Man gets a power pellet. The burgers are slow, they can't fight back, and while yes, they can still pick up stars, if Tooth eats them, they'll lose way more than they can ever gain. But you know how I said Tooth was my favorite design? My second favorite design would have to be Charity, purely because of how strange it is. It's artistic, it's expressive, it's surreal, but it's also kind of adorable in some respects, mostly when it's paired with her voice. Her voice is basically a mix between Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls and Toot Bronstein from Drawn Together. And it's no coincidence that she's voiced by Tara Strong, who plays both of those characters. Until the Powerpuff Girls reboot came out, but we don't talk about that. Charity's name is a big joke, because her sin is greed. She wants everything. She has to have anything she sees, even if it's trash. She wants it. Even if it's another person, she wants it. And you know, Charity's all about giving and helping others, and that's not what she's about in the slightest. She's a little girl from the Hamptons, who's been spoiled to oblivion. She's like Stingy from Lazy Town on steroids. She's so consumed with gathering more material possessions that she's basically a kleptomaniac. In all the scenes that focus on her, she's either gathering up her hordes of treasure or stealing from other people, all while thinking it's the sweetest, cutest, happiest little thing in the world. Because even though she's doing admittedly pretty bad stuff and is being a total selfish brat, she doesn't know she's being bad. The instruction manual clearly states that she's innocent and naive, which shows that she doesn't really know what she's doing. She's so self-absorbed, like Lance, that she doesn't see how it's affecting other people. I think the only reason she hasn't made more enemies is because she's a little girl, and people have more mercy on her. More on that when we get to Lucky. Not helping Charity's case is that she's extremely hyperactive. Whenever she's on screen, she's always nodding her head, or twitching, or fiddling with her fingers, or doing something. She never, ever holds still. Perhaps this is her suppressing the urge to take everything she sees. After all, anything she sees that she wants, even in the slightest, is always hers. And this is where her special move comes in too. When she gets the exclamation point, all of the stars turn into these green-yellow hybrids. Only Charity can collect them, because when anyone else touches them, they explode, becoming star mines. That's why you always have to be very careful whenever she gets the special move. One wrong step, and you're toast. Again, and again, and again. But she doesn't care, she gets all the pretty shiny things, and that's the true meaning of Christmas.
Billy has more toys than you!
And you know, while we're on the subject of a character being played by Tara Strong, let's go to the other whacked contestant who's played by that famous voice actress, Lucy. She's the fan favorite for obvious reasons. She's not my favorite character, really, but I do like her development. And no, that's not a double entendre. What I mean is, Lucy knows what she's doing. She's not some dumb, airheaded bimbo who's flaunting herself around because that's how she was raised or she doesn't know any better. No, she's using, as Ross Geller would say, sex weapons. Lucy shows as much skin as possible so that she can entice people to do basically whatever she wants them to. She'll control their minds, manipulate them, get them to do tasks she doesn't want to do. Or the one she wants the most, in the case of Whacked, giving her the prize. You can tell by the name Lucy exactly what kind of person she is. She's loose. Get the joke? If there is one flaw with her, I would say it's that all of the cutscenes she's in have this as a punchline. Whoops, she's naked. Whoops, she's being sexual. That's kind of it. It's one note, really. But she does have good chemistry with the other contestants, so I'll let it slide. Lucy isn't just a body, she's definitely brains as well, which makes her very dangerous, a true femme fatale. And this shows in her special move as well. She runs up to you, and kisses you, and you go flying and explode. Like most of the special moves, it's an upgraded version of one of the items, in this case being the Stick of Reason. But that doesn't mean it's not effective, and it fits with her character perfectly. On the surface, she's all bubbly and smiley, and clearly, has nothing to hide. On the inside, she's a monster, through and through. Real quick, let's talk about Fantastic. He's based off of Elvis Presley, he's prideful, he's a jerk, and he's also the weakest character in the game. Playing as each individual character is really only cosmetic unless you get the special move. And Vans is getting his 2 minions to come out, and they don't really do anything. If you're playing as Fantastic, the only reason to get the exclamation point is so that the other contestants can't get it. That's really it. His special is that worthless. Moving on. Otto is a very interesting character. And I mean that because he's not a character. He's the slothful guy who lays around and sleeps through the whole game. He's barely even conscious. He wakes up once or twice during the entire run of the game. All this guy does is talk in his sleep, say weird things, and get moved around by his sentient chair. His name perfectly describes this kind of character, Otto, being automatic. Everything with this guy is purely automatic and automated functions. If it's not necessary, and if it's not already programmed into his body, Otto's not gonna do it. And this includes being a contestant. If you choose to play as Otto in Whacked, you're not playing as Otto, you're playing as the chair. The chair clearly doesn't like Otto in the slightest. Otto has no ambitions, Otto has no goals, Otto doesn't do anything, even during the game. But it needs Otto because without him, the chair can't enter the game. So in a sense, he's being used as a puppet for this chair, who's the real mastermind behind this whole thing. And don't think that the chair doesn't have personality, it does. Though it never says a word, its face, I guess you could call it, is very expressive and gives a window into what this guy, chair thing is thinking. The chair seems to be a very sarcastic and somewhat bitter individual that would rather be with other contestants than Otto. But it knows that no matter what, it's gonna be stuck with him until the very end, if they even get that far. And if it wasn't for the chair, Otto never would have been accepted onto the show given the fact that he bombed extremely hard during his audition. But Otto will never know that, and the chair will never forget it. And as interesting as Otto is, his special move is not. There's a power-up in this game called El Vampiro that gives you a sombrero and you go around sucking out all the stars from the contestants that you get close to. It's only one at a time, but hey, any star loss is good, right? Well, Otto's special move is multiple El Vampiro. He can suck the stars from anyone he's in a close radius with. But that's it. It doesn't do any damage, it's really slow. Not to mention the fact that he's extremely vulnerable while he has this power activated. There's no way you can hide. There's always Z's or Z's emanating from him when his power is in effect. And if he dies, he loses it. The end. Not quite as useless as Van's move, but still definitely on the lower end of the spectrum. And now, we've saved the best for last. Put your hands or stumps together for Lucky, the most fleshed out and most enjoyable character in my opinion. Lucky gets mad at everything because he's had a pretty rotten life. He's a rabbit whose feet have been harvested by a good luck charm factory. And now he's out for revenge. Revenge on who? Anybody who gets him mad. You so much as look at this guy the wrong way, and he will end your life. He doesn't care who he offends. He doesn't care what he says. He doesn't care what his actions do to others. All he wants is to win. And when he wins, then everyone's gonna pay. So get on his good side. But Lucky isn't all anger and shouting and wrath. He's also a surprisingly intellectual individual, and has some soft sides to him. When Van is interviewing him in his cast interview, Lucky complains that no one ever wants to hear about how his life is going, or wants to hear the poems he writes, showing that Lucky has a soft side to him. Perhaps before his feet got harvested, he was a kind, sensitive individual. And there's still signs of it here, deep down. He's just gotta work through his anger issues. And there's more signs of it too. One of my favorite cutscenes is the Charity and Lucky one, purely because of how crazy and funny it is. But this also provides a gateway into who Lucky really is. Charity mentions that she has a cute little bunny foot, and when Lucky hears that, he wants to see it, to see if it's his foot. Now, when people provoke him like Eugene or Fantastic, he's not afraid to attack them physically, verbally, or both. But with Charity, he doesn't do that. Remember, she's a little girl. Hurting a little girl under basically any circumstance is not socially acceptable and is quite horrible. Lucky talks very gently to her, and even when she gets him angry, he doesn't hurt her, but he distracts her, sending off a piñata bomb, which, as a side note, I kinda wish was an item. So she goes over to the candy and looks through it so he can see the bunny foot, which is actually a chicken foot. Even though he seems to have uncontrollable rage, Lucky knows his limits. He knows who to hurt and who not to hurt. Although, you'd better not call him a bunny, he hates that. That's the one thing that can set him off like nothing else. That's the reason he went full hog wild on Eugene, or at least tried to before he got electrocuted. And going back to his interaction with Charity, take a look at his face when he says this line.
Did I hear you say you've got yourself a cute little bunny foot?
You see that? He winces. Now that's some impressive attention to detail right there. And he's got the best special move too. He turns into a Tasmanian devil-style tornado, sucking up everything in his path, like stars and other contestants. The stars add up to his total like nobody's business. But if the contestants get put in, they get launched far, far away with massive damage. He's almost invulnerable too. Only direct melee weapons can attack him, and maybe some missiles too, but you have to be very precise. So in all things considered, Lucky really is at the top of the heap. But that's not to say that the other contestants aren't great either. Despite how, gameplay-wise, Whacked is extremely simple and honestly kind of basic sometimes, when it comes to the story and the cast, they went all out. I said it before in my original review, but I would definitely like to see a show based off of these guys. I could see it kind of being like a bit more of a toned down and perhaps more experimental and bizarre drawn together. The contestants already have good chemistry and great designs, and there's a lot to go off of here. I don't think we'll ever get it. In fact, I'm definitely sure we will never get it, but it's always nice to think about. And also, if you're wondering, this is my list of favorite contestants from favorite to least favorite. my favorite special moves. And that's all I've got to say about that. Well, folks, thanks for watching the video. Have you guys played Whacked? Have you noticed all these strange developments with these characters that really should be kind of basic but aren't? Comment below and let me know, because I'm always excited to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.